Hello and welcome to today's video. So this time we're going to be having a look through a batch of vintage Peacock paperbacks that came from the recent Barn Find collection. So sit back, relax, and let's get to it. Okay, so we're starting off with something which is not exactly particularly nice. It's a reprint, a tatty old reprint of the very first Peacock book. Now, what I've done with these, I have put these Peacocks into numerical order. So this is Peacock number 1, PK number 1. And ordinarily, a book in this condition, a reprint with a ripple on, creases down the spine, I would just toss it. However, there is a friend of mine who is writing the book of Peacock books, and she has just about finished. And when I met her at Oxford, she gave me, I said, look, I've just had a batch in, and there was a few that she was missing. I myself am missing a handful, but she is after some of the reprints which are ISBN only in reprint form. So I'm saving them all, the ones that aren't at least fallen to bits, so that she can have a look through and she can make up her own mind. I'll just be giving them to her basically, but hopefully I'll have some that are actually on her wants list. Now I saved this one as well. This is one that's been bound into a hardback, probably by a school library, and these little like anomalies, I shall offer this one to her. But I've got a small collection of like penguins. This is the first, a small collection of penguins that are that have been bound up in this way, and I sort of keep them as well, oddities. That's the only way to describe them really. These weren't done by Penguin, this was done by a school or by a library. I'll give it a good brush and I'll give the cover a polish at the end, and we'll see how that one comes out. But apart from that, it's not too bad condition wise. Here's something a little bit more traditional. So I actually got a regular book, but even this one's got some wear. We got 2 copies of this one, so this one's not perfect, and in fact this one is a reprint. But as I said, because my friend is writing a bibliography, reprints are actually important because we need to know which books are reprinted. And she has sent me her information, which looks very comprehensive anyway. But if I can help with the story, then I absolutely will. So that's about all we can do on that one. Here's another copy of this one. So this may be the first, I don't know. We'll have a little look. Yeah, see, that's the first of that one. That's in pretty nice condition as well. So, as I said, I need about 8, I think, from the numbered series. And I think they go up to about number 64, 65, 66, something like that. So hopefully some of those 8 will be in the 3 piles that we've got to do today. Some of them numbered. We got a fair batch of ISBN ones as well, in actual fact. So we'll see how we get on. This is Peacock number 5 with my little eye. But as I said, this is one of those ones where I'm making a bit of an exception, and I'm just getting even the tatty books looking as good as possible because they may be used for another purpose. That's absolutely just coming away a little bit from the insides there. Yes, I'm going to slide a little bit of glue in there. So it's been quite a while since I've actually been in the studio doing a cleaning video. I've had quite a bit on just lately, and I've not had the opportunity to come in and do any cleaning. There we are. So I literally had to pull the lid off this one to get the glue flowing again. This is good glue, but when you don't use it for a while, and you have been using it quite a bit, it does tend to go solid, even if you clean the end of sort of the nib at the end of doing your work. So a little bit unfortunate. Where's my screwdriver here? This one has got a little bit of a spine roll. I'm just going to put a little slither in there like that. There we are. So, I mean, it's not a great copy by any means, but it's a copy at least, and someone will be maybe grateful for it. So apart from my friend who's writing the book on peacocks for the Penguin Collectors Society, I have had another collector who's sent me her list, and so between the three of us, my list and the two that I've been sent, quite a lot of these books are already spoken for. So I thought, well, I've taken all the Puffin books into the house and I've sorted them into peacocks, which is what we've got here today. I've sorted them into Puffin storybooks, numbered only series, and also ISBN ones, which later, of course. And we've got ISBN peacocks here as well, some of which I'm certain I've never seen, but I'm less fussed about keeping those. I just keep selected ones of those, really. I've got picture puffins as well. Got quite a collection of picture puffins, which is a bit past my normal sort of period, but I've got them all the same. There's some good ones in there. There's a couple of Captain Pugwash. That's quite a nice copy. That's actually a reprint again, so interesting all the same. It doesn't matter. I Capture the Castle, Dodie Smith. Yeah, this one's a bit rough, but it is a first, and I'd like to save it if I can. Yeah, a little bit rough, but hey ho. We'll see. 2 copies of this one, The Country Child. The peacocks I've actually got in my collection are actually pretty good. I got a fair batch last year in that collection I bought last year, and that sort of started me off really. So I've got a nice starter collection. There's a few that need upgrading, of course, but it's one of those ones really. They were, predominantly designed for young adults, a completely recognizable sector of the market these days, but back then it was Penguin looking to graduate the children from Puffin storybooks onto something a little bit more adult, but not quite adult books yet. And that's what the peacocks were designed to do. They sort of fill that little void between Puffin books, but before the adult sort of main fiction. And I think they did that very, very well. There's lots of books from the main list that ended up as peacocks. And we'll see some today as we work our way through them. That was number 9 there. This one here, for example, the very next book, Elephant Bill. So this was released in main series, as was its follow-up. But evidently they thought it was worth releasing as a Puffin as well. Maybe because of the animal interest, I don't know. Yeah, that's the first published in Penguin 1956, reprinted again in 1956, and then reprinted in Peacock 1963. This is the first Peacock edition of that one. It's missing a little bottom of the spine, but apart from that, it was absolutely fine. The Flight of the Heron. This is number 13. Obviously, all these books are going to need a brush, but we will also give these books a polish as well. They are of that period where we are able to polish them, which is good news. I do like these early ones. They do have a really nice design aesthetic to them, Number 14. Yeah, that's nice. Once again, that was one that I'm sure came out in the main series. The Peacock Book of Camping. Look at that. Of course, you have to bring your trusty guitar when you go camping, don't you? It's sort of the law. Number 17. Wow, what a period piece, eh? What a period piece. The door of the studio here is shaking a little bit. I'm doing this actually on an early Saturday evening. I've been away to a toy fair today, and I thought, well, I've sorted those peacocks. Okay, it's such a nice way to cleaning books is such a nice way to unwind, you know. And I've actually got the next video I'm going to be filming is also another cleaning video that I'm probably going to do tomorrow on Sunday, just as a little bit of chill out. And I like to clean books. I like to get, because it shows progress, you know, working my way through the collection. That's what I like to do. The Viper of Milan. 1963. Yearling. That's all right. A.E.W. Mason, Fire Over England. Also a first, that one. That's absolutely fine. Nice copy of that one. That's good. The Rider of the White Horse. This is Peacock number 28. There we are. Now these were done under the editorship of Kay Webb, and she at the time was also the Puffin editor. So she was in charge of all the sort of books aimed, well, that weren't aimed at adults, basically, all the youngsters' books. Anne of Green Gables. That's one I'm not sure I've got. I didn't check my wants list before I started the video. Maybe I should have. But it's okay. I want them all to be cleaned as good as I possibly can, regardless of if I've got them or not. The Man-Eaters of Kumeon. This one's a little bit grubby. You do find a lot of these children's books have got names inside. That's what children would do. I wouldn't dream of it, of course. Although I think I probably did as a kid. A couple of times, I reckon. Until I started to realise that I wanted to protect my books as much as possible rather than give them any damage. Hard to get the glue in that little slot there, but that's about as good as we're going to get that one. It's pretty borderline, to be honest, but it may be one that somebody wants. This is Peacock number 32, and it's got a 5p on the front. Apart from that, it's a real stonking copy by the look of it. One of the best ones we've seen today. But what about that sticker? Let's have a go, shall we? This has probably been on since the early 1970s. Because it's pence, not an old money sticker. It does seem to be peeling off okay so far. We'll just tease it with my thumb. Because it's a very nice copy apart from the sticker. There we are. Well, that's nice. That's come off absolutely fine. And we'll give that one a little polish as well. But that's a really nice copy of that one. Once again, not one I remember from last time when we were cleaning them. Now, this is when the cover design changes slightly. So this is Peacock number 35. That was number 32. And they've all got these white appearances now. I'm not so keen on these. Those early ones we just did, they're my favourite peacocks of all because they're nice and colourful and they're all sort of unique. This one makes them a little bit more uniform, and I'm not so keen. W.H. Smith's Library, 68. What's that all about, eh? What is that all about? Yeah, not the greatest of copies, this. A little bit of glue required there. It's double ply. So we've got to get the first bit in, like that. And we have to get the second bit in with another drop. Like so. And that should do the trick. Yep, there we are. A little split at the top, but apart from that, I think we've saved that one from getting any worse. Start a fresh pile here. Here's a classic, Green Mantle by John Buckham. And this is absolutely in the adult list. Yeah, published in Penguin 56. This was the Peacock edition from 64, I think it said. Shane, the story. It's a Western, isn't it? Yeah, that's all right. I mean, it's not perfect condition, but it's not bad. The 14th of October, Braher. Don't know anything about this. Not what I remember. Quite a nice copy though. Some of these got quite yellowy spines, and I don't know if they've been stored somewhere where somebody was smoking, or this is just how they've sort of aged a little bit. But the polish generally will fade a spine if it's got a yellowy spine or a nicotine stained spine. The polish on it will get quite a bit of it up, in actual fact. It won't get rid of it completely, it'll still leave a mark, but it can vastly improve it, let's put it that way, you know. That's a little bit borderline, that one, to be honest. But it's okay. I said we're doing these low grade ones with a bit of an ulterior motive, in that we do need some, we might need them basically. I think we need a little bit in the top as well here where it's come away. It really was unfortunately a bit of a dog, this one, but you know, we're making the best of what we got. If I can save any of these, I will, you know, even if it's just to give to someone as a filler, you know, for free. I'm absolutely fine with that. I just don't like throwing away a book unless it's really too far gone, you know. Well, I think we managed to save the spine there, so we'll see how it looks like after it's had a good brush and a polish, which these most definitely will need. Certainly the brush along the edges is going to make a huge difference, as will a bit of Mr. Sheen with a bit of luck. Number 41. Yeah, that's all right. The Bronze Bow, 42. Oh, these got little tempies in. Goodbye, My Shadow, Mary Stoltz. It's got some colouring in on the back there, but as I said, it may be. Oh, and it's got a page. It's no good. When it's torn like that and it's got the graffiti on, that I'm afraid is too far gone. That is a defect too far, even for me. Right, the Wild Heart, 45. Shame we only had the one copy, but that's how it goes. That's okay. As a May morning. No big name in the front there, but apart from that, it's okay. And it is a first. So, borderline, but it just redeemed itself to spare the conquered. Yeah, that's okay. Very darkened spine there, and I think that is nicotine damage, I think. And all these next ones have all got the same because they came from the same place. It may not be nicotine, the cigarettes, it may be from an open coal fire, but there weren't that many of these when these books were brand new in the 60s. Most people have moved over, I think, to gas or electric. But then again, I do remember my gran in the 70s having an open coal fire, so maybe I'm completely wrong. To me, that looks like nicotine damage, which, as I said, it will clean up a little bit, but it's not going to clean up as nice as I might like it to. But, apart from that, the copies are okay. Johnny Tremaine, number 49. It's funny, all these naval books. I wonder if these were done on the back of the popularity of hornblowers. Very, very popular around this time. This is probably the biggest one today we've looked at. Elizabeth Googe, Towers in the Midst. It looks like historical. Yeah. 370 pages. A little bit of fox in there, but generally okay. Once again, look at it. I'm really hoping we can do a little number on that at the end of these. We are over halfway through, but this is just the initial go through, isn't it? We have got the brushing and we have got the polishing to do, which is going to add a bit more to this video. Now, it's far, far too horrible, wet and windy to do any sort of brushing outside, certainly at the moment. But I'll have a look in the morning. I might be able to pick my moment and luckily just nip outside and quickly get these brushed before we start polishing. But I shall have to play that by ear. That one's got a picture jacket. Sammy goes going south. Interesting. Good Wives. Louisa M. Alcourt. Right, now we do need a little bit of glue in there. Just a smidgen. Hopefully that will catch. Yeah, it wasn't Good Wives like the sequel to Little Women, as I recall. Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Yeah, I thought it was. I've not read either, but I hear that very good, very good. Number 55, Tori. Got a big chunk of dust on the top there. There we go. Yeah, he's okay. Hear the River, number 56. I don't know a lot about. Very much sort of teenager focused by the look of it. Quite a nice copy of that one. The House of the Four Winds, another one by John Buckham. 15p probably. Yeah, that's all right. Feels quite rough on the back. Hopefully when we polish this will get some of this, whatever this is, off. It's like, we've seen it before, it's like grit, you know. It's actually coming off quite easily with my fingernail, but I think some polish is probably what's required on that one. There we are. The Glen in the North. This is number 60, and it's actually got a coloured spine. So I wonder if this is some sort of weird reprint. Nope, just an anomaly. A few turned over pages. Looks to have a cover by Victor Ambrose, I think is the artist. We can check. Oh no, Shirley Hughes. I thought I recognised it, but yeah, Shirley Hughes, not Victor Ambrose. I think he did start doing stuff for Penguin, but a little bit later. Yeah, bit of a creased old copy, that one, but we'll keep it because, you know, it's not the end of the world condition-wise. Science fiction, Andre Norton, there we are. Lord of Thunder, number 62. Faded spine. Hopefully, apart from that, okay, just about. Not the greatest of shape, but not too bad. And the Constant Nymph, which is the last numbered one that we've got today to look at, number 65. We do have still one whole stack of ISBN ones, which go quite late by the look of it. So I'm going to pop that one up there as the last numbered one. Then these are not in any order at all. So this is obviously a reprint. Look at this, Shane. So really, ones that we've done before that are a reprint, I'm going to put to one side, and those particular ones we can, I can then let my friend know. Let's say, look, I've got a reprint of, what number was Shane? Let's have a little look here. It was number 38. So I can say I've got a reprint of number 38 from 1969. Because my friend is collecting all the reprints of the books as well, you see, the one who's doing the bibliography. So the reprints, as I said, are actually quite important, which is why I'm keeping a little hold of them. But there we are. So we're out of time for today, but we've made a really, really good start on these. So I'm very, very pleased. We've got a nice wedge still to do. And as I said, and then we're going to finish them off tomorrow with a polish and a good brush. So I shall be back then to carry on. Right, it's the next morning. It's a Sunday morning, and I had a cheeky little look at my Peacock list on the computer, and I actually only need 6 of the original numbered ones. This is a reprint here, but I did also check out my friends list, and it was quite a surprise to see just how many like reprints and stuff she was actually looking for. So I'm hoping that I'm really going to be able to get quite a bit of these sort of the more unusual ones and all the obscure reprints, which I guess haven't really been saved so well, into her collection. I won't be charging her for the reprints, of course. I suspect that there will be books that she doesn't actually know were part of the series. Just a little suspicion, because there's certainly plenty here that I didn't know about, that's for certain. But the history of peacocks have never really been that well documented, which is exactly why she's doing it, of course, because it's an area and or series that's never really been studied. So perfect. So if I can help out, I readily will. Very, very thin one, that, isn't it? A basketball game. The son of someone famous. It's okay. Now, this particular collection that we're looking at of peacocks came from the barn find that I had about a month ago as I film this now. And the original owner, a chap called Bill, had collected his penguin and puffin and peacock collection with his daughter, who now lives in Washington State. So these were her books that they picked up together when she was growing up from 1985 to 2005. That's when they were found, which is really nice, isn't it? Nice little bit of history on those. Ghost on the Hill. Slave of the Huns. Now that's is that Victor Ambrose or is that Shirley Hughes? Oh yeah, no, Victor Ambrose illustrated, and he did the foreword. Interesting. That's really nice. See, that's one I'd be quite tempted to keep. See, with my puffins, there are some post that are in the ISBN realm that I've kept because they're particularly attractive. They've got nice covers, or they're authors that I like. Don't think I've got much in that regard with the peacocks, although I've got some. So thankfully, my peacocks are not in storage. They are in a couple of boxes, but they're in the office where I sometimes work from home. So I'm going to be able to, once I've done these, I'll be able to check what's what. But I've got a list of the books that I'm missing, and I've got a list of the original peacocks that I want to upgrade. But I haven't got a list or even a photograph of the post ISBN ones that I've saved. See, that's very, very scarce. And I noticed on the list that my friend has already got it. So I probably won't bother keeping that one. I've already got it. But since we're here, we might as well do it. This one, for example, I'm pretty sure I've got my copy of it. But my friend listed like 2 or 3 different reprints to it, which is amazing, so who knew? Prove yourself a hero. So so some of these I probably won't end up being saved, and some of them will. So that's very, very low grade, but I'm reluctant to throw any of them away unless they're really, really hammered, until I've at least run them by my friend. So this one's laminated, and it is ex-library. So that, I would say, in this particular case, no, really, it's just too far gone. That has to go on the floor. An ex-library, all laminated. It's horrible. No one's going to want that. There has to be minimum sort of standards. You know what I mean? House on the Brink. Another copy of that one. But yeah, I don't really have room for loads and loads of post-ISBN stuff. There's just too much. There's too much. Now, I noticed that this was one of the ones she mentioned in her wants list. She wanted Walkabout, but one of the reprints. Now, this is a reprint, but it's like a film tie-in cover rather than, I think, the one that she was looking for. So there we go. And I didn't see any other copies of Walkabout there that I could remember. Nope. This will be a reprint as well, I believe. But yeah, I won't be charging her for these or anything because they're such low grade copies. They'll just be freebies. True Grit. I'm guessing this is like the Western then. Yeah, the Penguin edition came out in 1969. It was the John Wayne movie, True Grit, as I recall. Anne of Avalon. This is the sequel to Anne of Green Gables, isn't it? Anne of Avalon, I think. The Bush Babies. Some of these have definitely got some sort of storage issues where they've been in the barn, sadly. It's just coming away, so we will need to dig the glue out today. My next cleaning video that I'm going to be filming is Folio Society books. I've been able to get quite a few lately, some early ones, and so it's going to be a hardback video. As I said, I will mix in Penguin main series and crime videos in between other stuff like these Peacock books, and I've got a huge load of puffins on my dining room table at the moment that needs sorting. Puffin storybooks, that is. So look out for those quite soon, because that's once again I've got people waiting for them, so I don't really want to hang around. I'd like to get them sorted, and it's another little area which will be good to get sort of done, really. I've got, as I film this, I've got the Zardoz book fair coming up, which is in the 5th of October, I believe. And I've got someone who wants the puffins. She's given me a list of puffins. I'd like to at least sort hers out before that show, because she's coming along to it, and I can sort of hand deliver them then, and she can have a look and make sure she's happy. That's the plan, anyway. Yeah, these last few here. Cobbler's Dream. What I think I will do before I think I may have some Peacocks left over from last year, so I'm going to dig those out before I go through my friend's list book by book. So I've got everything I've possibly got here to offer her to hand. That is the plan. I can jump puddles. Okay, and then we've got 3B format Peacocks, the motorcycle book. Pretty sure I got some of these in B form, but I can't quite remember what. That's okay. All in the Head. This is non-fiction, of course. And the last one is this Bird Count, which is a practical guide to bird surveys. It's got a little 40p in. So there we are. So that's all the Peacock books. Now, what we need to do next is give them a brush, and then the final job will be give them all a damn good polish. But they do also need a damn good brush as well. So a two-stage process. The brush is going to happen right now. Right then, so let's get these brushed. thankfully it's actually not raining. So we shall make the most of it. My daughter's just arrived with her dog, so Goosey might make a bit of an appearance in the video, you never know. He does like to see what's going on, because he's a good boy. But these really were quite dusty books, so they do need a good brush. Got like bits of barn against them. Bits of barn. But this really does make quite the difference. Hello, Goosey. Leave Rita alone. No, leave her alone. You can't come in here unless you're going to help me clean books. There you go. This is what I have to put up with. Such is the life of a book cleaner. My cat's just gone under the studio here, in terror of Goosey, saying hello. Yes, you have to leave Rita alone. Now he's eating the grass. Yeah, they really were quite dusty. So it's worth doing this outside since we had the opportunity. Obviously it's the top edges that need the most attention, but I try and do all sides because you don't really know how they've been stored sometimes. Looking good. Well, looking better. The final bit will be when we polish them, of course, but one step at a time. Almost there, we are on the last stack. It's quite tiring, this, you know. Last of the A formats. Yeah, I do find cleaning book collections, it's always easier to break it down into small, manageable chunks, like we're just doing these Peacocks. There's no more than like 100 books here, really, so that's quite a nice little wedge to do. With the main series books, I'm currently breaking them down into hundreds, so 1,100 to 3,000. But just the initial sorting, I'm trying to do 100 or 200 a day sorting out. It's taking a long time. There we are. So that's all the books brushed. So here we go, fresh bit of cloth. Nice big wedge of Mr. Sheen. And we will get going. Now, some of these, you know, it's not going to make a huge amount of difference, like this one, for example. But others, it'll actually really accentuate them, and it'll get the last little bits of dirt off them, which makes it well worth doing. This hardback ex-library, I don't think I'm going to keep this one, but I'll give it to my friend because it's an example of where something that almost certainly she won't have because it's so unusual. It's probably not unique, but it's probably not many of them out there that were done this way, and it'll be something she's probably not got. And because of its laminated cover, this has obviously come up quite nice, which is what I would expect. Now, these aren't glossy covers per se, but the polish is just taking away a few fingerprint marks and things like that. Stuff that is quite common with books aimed at youngsters. They get worn, they're in the classroom, they're in school bags, they get stuff dripped on them, you know, who knows what they go through. But they're probably a little bit more worn and harder to find in tip-top shape than adult books, I would say. So consequently, Peacock books and Puffin books, I think, are a harder proposition to collect, particularly if you are a collector and you're looking for sort of really nice condition examples. It can be, well, a constant task. So I've got, although I needed 6 Peacocks in my collection, I've got a list of about a dozen that are, I think, you know, I need to upgrade for one reason or another. So, as I said, thankfully, I shall have the opportunity to check my Peacocks before I offer these to the 2 collectors who are after them. And fingers crossed, I'll find a few upgrades and or more importantly, ones that I was missing. But having a quick look at the list, I know there's definitely some here that I want, so that's fantastic news. It's certainly one of the more attractive vintage series to collect because there's only 66 of them. And I do know at least one or two collectors who've completed this run without any trouble at all, really. They've done it over the years. It's never one that I focused on until I ended up getting some in a nice big collection, and then I had the basis for a collection, a bit like recently when I've picked up a nice little wedge of Penguin Plays. It wasn't a series that I was ever that fussed about, but now I've got a pretty nice run of them, so I've got the basis of a collection after only ever having a small handful of them, beforehand. So it's been quite a while since we've done any polishing, hasn't it? Yeah, so I'm not exactly sure what next week's video is going to be. It's going to be Penguin Crime, or it'll be a barn find specific video. And then, as I said, the one after that, I think, is probably going to be the Folio Society book. So having a little tot up there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I reckon I've got a run of 50 Folio Society books there that are going to need cleaning. Now, look at that. That was nicotine, I think. Yeah, about 50 Folio Society books that need cleaning. So it's not going to be a short video, that's for certain. In fact, it may end up spilling over into 2. We'll just have to see. The other thing I want to do with all my Folio Society books, the early ones in dust wrappers, is actually put them in protective plastic sleeves. Now that's going to be quite a big job. I've got a roll in hand, ready to at least make a start, and I'll try to do them in order, because I'm going to be filming a video of the first 3 years of the Folio Society quite soon, because I've pretty much pinpointed the whole lot down now, and quite the collection it is too, I can tell you. I'm actually reading the very first Folio Society book myself at the moment, Tales from Tolstoy, and it's really good. Really, really good. I've never read any Tolstoy before, obviously most famous for War and Peace, but these tales of Tolstoy is like 5 short-ish. You could say 5 like novellas in effect, and they're really good. Really, really good. So I've been enjoying that. Now, there was also, on this lady's list, there was a Peacock book which seemed to have got released as a Penguin handbook. Now, I have got my Penguin handbooks in here in the studio with me, so I will also go through. It's about 4 stacks. I'm going to go through and see if I can spot it, because it's one that she needs, so if I can find that for her as well. I'm pretty sure it's a handbook that I myself have already got, so I wouldn't be getting rid of something that I haven't got. So we're doing pretty good on these. Getting off lots and lots of dust and dirt. It's really just making them look as best as we possibly can. I think the later ones with the white jackets are going to be harder to clean. As we saw when we were going through, a lot of them have got what appears to me to be nicotine stains on them, and that's going to be a separate sort of issue. It'll clean up, but just how well it'll clean up, not sure. this is the last one of that first pile of 4. Although the last pile is more like a 2/3 pile, really. So that's the first little wedge done. We haven't got to, we're only up to number 30. We haven't got to the white covered ones yet. But yeah, that's the first wedge. We've done pretty good there. They're certainly better than what they were now. When we first dug them out, they were all dusty and not mouldy, but they weren't great. So we're off to a good start. Look at the dirt that we got off that first little stack there. So moving on a little bit onto the duster here. So we got a bit more of a clean bit. We'll crack on. So quite what will end up being saved, or if they're needed at all, I don't know. But some of these are certainly a bit low grade, and they're only being kept here on sort of borrowed time, really. But I suspect if it's like odd reprints that my friend hasn't got, she'll be happy to have them just as fillers, just to prove they exist in some cases. Right, now this is got the new style design. Didn't do a lot on that one. This is very low grade, mind you. This is one of the ones I didn't have, green mantle. So this one's going to be going into my collection. At least I'm pretty sure it's this one. And this is one that my friend definitely didn't have, was Shane. But I knew I did have this one. Yeah, see, if that was nicotine, that would be lifting off with this polish, but it's not. I think it's just faded yellowing, from the sun, which is a shame. But there you go. It's a little bit grubby, to be honest. Yeah, I don't think the polishing's making a big difference to the really bad ones. But the ones with just a few cover marks on, I think they do make an impact. Very, very yellow spine on that one. Hard to tell if that was nicotine or not, to be honest, but usually it would come up a bit lighter, and it just hasn't. It's just not moved it, I'm afraid to say. Yeah, a few little marks on this, but generally that's come up all right, to be honest, compared to what it was. Yeah, that did look like nicotine to me, that. Cigarette smoke. Yeah, I think it probably was, to be honest. The yellowing. Ugh. Not nice. These later ones now are much more laminated on the jackets, so we can afford to do a little squirt on directly without damaging them. Disaster with the Mr. Sheen falling on the floor. Last couple on this second stack. We are over halfway through on the polishing now. There we are, that was stack 2. Done with efficiency. Hasn't made a massive impact on those yellowy spines. Ideally we want them nice and bright and white, but they're just not there in that condition. So we got a stack and a half to do. Yeah, this has got a stain on the front, so I'll do the rest of it and see if we can get any of it off. Well, not much. I don't know what was stained on there, probably Coke or something like that. But that's as good as we're going to get it. So reasonably clean copies, some of these. Yeah, these are coming out quite nicely, these more recent ones, you know. It does add an extra level of cleaning, doesn't it, to the video when we have to give them a bit of a clean, but that's not the end of the world. Yeah, I like that one, Slave of the Huns. That's a nice, nice looking book, that. Like this one, which is falling to bits, but it may be useful in a small sort of way. Another one with a few things on the front cover. Bit of staining of some sort. Back cover's okay. There we are, that was pile number 3, and then we've got like a little half a pile to finish off. And then we're done on this video, and then I've just got a bit of sorting out to do this afternoon. Bit of comparing and what have you. You know how it is. But nothing I cannot handle. Look at that. The muck we've got off this is just incredible today. Shows they really did need a polish, didn't it? So as always, if you've enjoyed today's video, don't forget, give it the thumbs up. And if you've not already, do please hit the subscribe button as well. Feel free to leave a comment down below if you've enjoyed it. If you've made it to the end, well done. It's quite a long video, this one. But it was worth getting them all done in one hit. I didn't want to split this or anything. It was just a Peacock video, done and dusted, basically. Until the next sort of big collection heads my way, whenever that may be. Be interested to know if any of you have ever read or collected Peacock books. Certainly they're largely forgotten nowadays. Not many people remember them. Some of these are still absolutely hammered. Well, not hammered, but really, really dirty. Can't believe the muck we're getting off them. Yeah, quite a nice little run this. Very pleased to have them. And as I said, the bulk of these is going to be going to just a couple of collectors of them. There'll be a small pocket, I think maybe 3 or 4 that I need myself. And I suspect there may be, even with these conditions, just a couple of upgrades possibly as well. But until I got my own ones out, I can't remember. So that's what I'm going to be doing this afternoon. Alright, the last 3 B formats, and then we're all done. So thanks very much for watching today, and I hope you found it enjoyable and relaxing. And I'll see you again next Saturday with another cleaning video of some sort, but probably penguin crime or probably something just general from the barn find. So I will see you then. Bye.